So I wanted to debate for a while now if I was gonna make this video, and I said, I'm not gonna make it. And then I said, you know what, screw it. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever comments happens. Whatever reactions I get is gonna happen. And I gotta make this video. I'm ready to move on from Daniel Jones as the quarterback for the New York Giants. Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're somehow new to this channel, go ahead and like the video right now, subscribe to my channel, and tap the bell icon for future football content. I'll also be doing more sports in the future, just focusing on football until basketball season officially starts back in a couple more days. I do New York Giants videos every single week. I do reaction videos to our games every single week, post-game videos, previews. I haven't done a preview video yet, but the Commanders video should be out in a couple more hours, depending on when you're watching this. But jumping right into it, so Daniel Jones has been the quarterback for the New York Giants since 2019. So a good few years now, 5 years. And he had a okay rookie year, 24 touchdowns. This was it. 12 or 13 interceptions. That goes along with all the fumbles he had. I think he had about 13. So that's a good number of turnovers he had when you include those, obviously, interceptions already as it is. So it was a pretty, average year for Daniel Jones when you take into account those turnovers as well. His year 2 and year 3 years were pretty below average years. I think he threw about 10 touchdowns or 11 touchdowns in both of those years. So obviously, once again, 2 years that don't really, give Daniel Jones a lot of help when you look at him and ask, do you believe in this guy as a franchise quarterback? You didn't go into his first year with Brian Daboll. He didn't have the best year statistically. It wasn't anything, like I said, $40 million good, but he threw 15 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. He also rushed for 7, so that's 22 touchdowns in total. But again, not necessarily a statistic or stat line that you look at and say, I believe in Daniel Jones as a franchise quarterback and a guy that should have $40 million. Now, he did lead us to the playoffs against the Minnesota Vikings, in which he would end up winning that game, only to get destroyed by the Philadelphia Eagles a game after that. So he beat the 32nd ranked defense, which he honestly should have done. Then he got beat by better teams, which has kind of been the story of Daniel Jones' career. He can beat on the weaker teams, but when you look at him, he plays versus the elite teams like the Cowboys, the Eagles, teams like that. He really doesn't play that good. Simple as that. He doesn't really play that good. And I'm sick of all the comments saying, well, he can't play behind this O-line. Joe Burrow's had a horrible O-line his whole tenure with the Bengals to this point. He don't think he's having too big of an issue. Justin Herbert. Yeah, Justin Herbert had the 32nd ranked O-line in his rookie year. And he had a way better year than Daniel Jones has had his whole career to this point. He might have not made the playoffs. He might have had a bad record, but that's besides the point. He's still performing way better than Daniel Jones with a terrible O-line. Eli Manning took the 32nd ranked Giants offensive line, the 32nd ranked, to the Super Bowl, and he won. He won. I've said this once and I'll say it again. No matter how bad the situation is, you find out how good a quarterback is by how they can work around the issues they have. I'm not saying this offensive line isn't horrible, because it is horrible. It's horrible. But then again, you can't sit here and tell me that every problem Daniel Jones has to do with the offensive line. Are you sitting here telling me that Daniel Jones can't throw the ball one time downfield because the offensive line is an issue? Are you sitting here telling me that on every pass attempt Daniel Jones has, the offensive line is a problem? If you look at film, Daniel Jones in some of these plays, he has time to throw. The offensive line might be pressuring him, but he has time to throw downfield. Instead, he does a quick check down or he panics. Then he gets under pressure and throws the ball out of bounds. That's not something a pro QB does. Pro QBs who know they're under pressure, if they have time, they try to get into it the nearest man downfield. That's not something Daniel Jones does. Pro QBs know how to work with pressure, do pre-snap adjustments to fix their own line, to make sure it's fixed before passing the ball. And Daniel Jones doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. If he's under pressure, he doesn't make pre-snap adjustments, and he's going to get sacked. He's either going to throw it away, stare down his receivers, and it gets picked off. Rookie mistakes. So like I said, if you're going to tell me the offensive line is horrible, I'm going to agree, but at the same time, I'm also going to tell you that everybody on that offense is an issue. The offensive line is an issue, and Daniel Jones the issue. I said it once in my last video, and I'm going to say it again. They are both problems. When your quarterback is on the team, they should be the solution. If the quarterback is not the solution on your team, somebody else said this, by the way, so I'm not going to steal it, but if the quarterback is not the solution for your team, then that means they're a problem. Your quarterback should be the solution and not part of the problem. That is something Daniel Jones simply is when you think about this team. He's not the solution. He never really has been the solution. He has always kind of been a part of the issue when you think about all the struggles the Giants have had over the past couple years. Please do not let what I say next take from the fact that Jason Garrett is still a horrible offensive coordinator. No matter what I say, that's not going to change. But we're also going to sit here and not say that Daniel Jones does not have his limitations as a quarterback. He has clear limitations. And I can think of some right now. Like I said, he still stares down his receivers. And this is like his fifth year. Fifth year in the league and still doing that. He doesn't go through his 1, 2, 3, fourth reads when he's looking downfield. He'll always look towards his first read, checking down at them, instead of looking at someone downfield. Something a rookie quarterback should do. Not a guy who's in his year 5 playing on his $40 million contract. And a lot of people get mad because we say that Tyrod Taylor manages offense better than Daniel Jones has all season, except for in the Cardinals game. And it's true. You look at Tyrod Taylor. He was under pressure at so many points during this game, but that did not stop him from throwing shots downfield, taking shots to his nearest man because he actually wanted to win. Quarterbacks who want to win are going to take the throws downfield instead of going under pressure and throwing out of bounds when they get panicked. That is what quarterbacks do. Quarterbacks need to have the confidence to do things like that. And if confidence is a huge issue for Daniel Jones because of offensive line, I hate to say it, but the one thing you need as a quarterback in this league is confidence in your team, confidence in people around you. And if your quarterback does not have that, there may be an issue, or maybe quarterback is simply not the job for you. And if Daniel Jones can't play quarterback without confidence, then that is a problem for Daniel Jones. That is a problem for the Giants. And that is a problem for a quarterback in general, actually. And you can blame the offensive line. You can blame whoever you want. But I refuse to let you blame Brian Dable or the receiving corps for the reason Daniel Jones is struggling. Let's look at the receivers. Darius Slayton, he had a great rookie year. And I think at best he's a great wide receiver 2 on most teams. Maybe a wide receiver 1 depending on how he develops. But I think at best he's a wide receiver 2. Jalen Hyatt, I think he could develop into a good wide receiver 1 in the future. Not now. In the future, I think he can be a good wide receiver 1, maybe. Wan'Dale Robinson, a great guy you can put on the slot and let him do his work. He's also a great receiver on this team. Darren Waller, like I said, when he's healthy, he's a top 5 tight end, maybe top 3. There's no excuse there. Let's look at some other guys. Isaiah Hodgins hasn't been getting a lot of playing time as of late, but I still think he's a decent wide receiver. So I don't want to hear, he doesn't have any weapons, because nobody was saying this before the season started. Nobody was saying this. Y'all were gassed out as receiving core. But now that you need an excuse for Daniel Jones, you go back to the receiving core excuse he had last year. But unfortunately, it's not going to work like that this year because he doesn't have that excuse anymore. The receivers are not the problem. And whenever people need to find more excuses, they say, well, Eli struggled. Listen, stop comparing him to Eli. Eli knew how to read defense for the most part, and that is why he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion right now. Every time a QB struggles, we're going to say, well, Eli this, Eli that, Josh Allen that. No, it's year 5. It's year 5. It's going to be year 6 next year, possibly. And we're still going to be asking ourselves if he's that guy. Even when Daniel Jones got that contract extension last season, we were still asking ourselves if DJ was really that guy. I hate to tell you this. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But if you're going into year 6 next season and you're still not confident that Daniel Jones is a guy, then there's a good chance that he's probably not that guy. You either know now or never if Daniel Jones is that guy. I'm talking to Joe Shane, by the way. You need to know now if he's that guy. And if he is not that guy, you draft the quarterback, take your guy, develop him behind Daniel Jones 1 year, do whatever, and then eventually have him set up as a replacement. Consider you can get off the contract after next season. I hate to say it, Daniel Jones fans, but if we're still questioning if he's that guy now, then he's probably not. It's 5 years now. We're still asking ourselves if he's that guy. So like I said, there's a good chance he's just unfortunately not that guy. And here's the thing with Daniel Jones. This is a guy I really don't want to fail. This is a guy I would hate if he failed. You know why? Because you look at Daniel Jones, you look at him during his interviews, he seems like quite possibly one of the most nicest guys on the block. You know why? Because you look at him during these interviews, he knows how to handle the media. The media's going to ask him so many questions, and he's going to handle it like a G. When the media was asking him a couple weeks ago about the comments the 49ers made about his contract and how he should have been paid, he handled it like a boss. He told them basically, I don't really care. I'm not really worried about that. I'm just focused on the next game. That's what some quarterbacks and some players need to respond like with these negative comments. Either dodge them the best way you can like Daniel Jones can, or don't answer him at all. Simple as that. That's one of the main positives I like about Daniel Jones. He knows how to handle the media. He's a hard worker. But at the end of the day, I fear going into year 6, we're still asking if he's that guy, and it's going to be a bad look on us to this point. If Daniel Jones does truly have the talent, it's probably not going to be on this team. He's probably going to have to be like Ryan Tannehill, who had to lead the Dolphins in order to find himself and to find out what kind of quarterback he can be. Because Ryan Tannehill was a great game manager with the Tennessee Titans. Not elite, not top 10. He was a great game manager, and he was able to win him a few games, even got him a first seed. With Daniel Jones, he could possibly be there. We don't know. Maybe the Giants are holding him back. Maybe the offensive line is the big issue. But when I look at it from my perspective, I don't think Daniel Jones is simply that guy for the Giants, at least as of right now to this point. At the end of the day, I'm going to say this loud and clear because clearly some of you who watched my last video didn't understand it, and I got some negative comments still. The quarterback is a problem. The offensive line is a problem. I'm going to say it again. The quarterback is a problem. The offensive line is a problem. The quarterback is a problem. The offensive line is a problem. The quarterback is a problem. The offensive line is a problem. The quarterback is the problem. The offensive line is a problem. Two things can be true. It doesn't have to be a one-sided argument. It really never is. Like I said, I've said that multiple times. The quarterback is the problem. The offensive line is the problem. So if you still don't understand now and still come on comments saying how do you expect Daniel Jones to throw, I'm just going to ignore it because I've said that multiple times. I literally even just repeated it in the video. A lot of you keep saying take an offensive tackle. I'm sick of taking offensive tackles top 5, top 10. We did with Evan Neal, and so far, it hasn't worked out. I'm sick of firing coordinators. We fired Jason Garrett because of Daniel Jones. It worked out a little bit, but some of you were also still saying fire Mike Kafka last season. So at one point, do we just sit back and realize maybe the quarterback is not the problem, is the problem? Maybe we need to sit back and realize that. Firing another play caller because of Daniel Jones, what would that do for us? I've been riding the Daniel Jones train for 4 years. Even in the 2 years, he was pretty below average. I still stood on the train. I still defended him. I still maybe thought Jason Garrett was a problem. No receivers were the problem. And I thought maybe that'd fix him. He has receivers now. Now the offensive line is a problem. Basically, the same issues we have been blaming Daniel Jones for the longest now. And we said maybe that was their problem. He was struggling. But now you get to a point where you got to stop the excuses. Even I got to stop the excuses. And you just got to work with what you have. No situation is going to be perfect for any QB, like I said. You can't find me a single quarterback outside of maybe Purdy and maybe Jalen Hurts for a perfect situation. And even he's struggling right now. 7 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Like I said, no quarterback with the perfect situation. No quarterback is going to have a perfect situation. And Daniel Jones and some of you fans are going to have to realize that. But we're at the 14-minute mark. But if you've reached the end of this video, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were informed by it. If you did, go ahead and like the video, comment, subscribe, check the bell icon. And follow me on all my social medias down below in the description. Twitter, Instagram. You can find all that in the description down below. But anyways, I'm out. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Man's gon' fuck it, 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 man's got 50 likes and Randolph tryna blast off, he wasn't in the face. In my way, for a nigga better go pray. I'ma send kill where he stay. Walk him down a little nigga, a minor with a micro drink. The drop him, we score, nigga, no one play.